Welcome to the Stoic Tide. Say the wrong nickname, lose the girl. Say the right one and she cannot stop thinking about you. Here is the trap most men fall into. We default to baby babe, sweetie. It feels safe. It sounds romantic, but it turns your voice into background noise and pushes you into the nice guy category. She does not get chills. She gets comfortable. Comfort is fine for friends. Desire needs something else. What she responds to is not a cute label. It is a word that hits her subconscious like a symbol. It makes her feel seen and slightly challenged at the same time. The forbidden nickname does not beg. It brands. It is rare, precise, and delivered once with calm masculine presence, then followed by silence. That is what creates the echo in her mind. Tonight I will show you how to choose it, when to use it, and how to make one word do more than 100 compliments. We will talk timing, tone scarcity, and the stoic energy that keeps you in control instead of needy. No games, no cringe scripts, just language that respects consent and amplifies chemistry. If you have ever been told you are sweet but not exciting, this is your upgrade. Pay attention. One sentence can change how she hears every word from you after this. Right now, listen closely. Let's get into it. Number 1, the nickname that isn't baby. Let's be real. Baby doesn't hit like it used to. It's the verbal wallpaper of modern dating. Every guy says it and every woman has heard it 1,000 times before. When you call her baby, she doesn't feel special. She feels categorized. It's like putting her on the same playlist as every woman you've ever texted. Take Mark, 42, from Texas. Divorced, successful, decent shape. He started seeing Rachel, 39, a creative consultant, smart, independent, the kind of woman who's been through her share of sweet talkers. Mark thought being attentive and calling her baby would show warmth. But after a few weeks, she started to drift. Texts got shorter, energy faded. He asked her what was wrong, and she said, "You're great, just predictable." That word predictable kills attraction faster than silence ever will. Because when a woman already knows what you'll say, you stop being intriguing. You stop existing as a man of depth and start becoming an emotional vending machine. Here's the truth. A nickname should never sound like a habit. It should sound like a discovery. It should reveal how you see her, not how every other man sees her. Instead of baby, think about words that reflect something unique about her presence, her energy, her rhythm, her chaos. Not sweetness, but essence. When Mark stopped saying baby and just once called her trouble, the energy shifted instantly. She laughed, paused, and said, "Why'd you call me that?" He shrugged, calm, quiet. The silence made her lean in. That's when he got her attention back. Not because of the word itself, but because of what it meant. See, it's not about replacing baby with something dirtier or flashier. It's about using language as a reflection of awareness. A stoic man doesn't speak to fill space. He speaks to influence energy. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." What you say and how you say it dyes her perception of you. If your words are automatic, she feels that. But if your words are deliberate, rare, and grounded in presence, she feels that too. When you speak from awareness, every word gains weight. You could call her storm trouble, chaos, or fire. It doesn't matter as long as it comes from the right place. What matters is the intention behind it. You're not performing. You're naming energy. You're describing a truth only you've noticed. And here's the secret. Scarcity gives the word its power. The first time you say it, it lands. The second time, it deepens. The third time, it dies. So don't overuse it. Let it live in her mind, not on your tongue. That's how you create an emotional echo, a single word that replays in her thoughts long after you've left the room. It's not manipulation. It's emotional awareness. You're speaking in the language her subconscious understands. Rarity, mystery, and control. So the next time you feel the urge to call her baby, stop. Breathe. Look at her like you already know something she doesn't. Then say the word that fits her energy, not her ego. Because when your words are rare, she'll crave them. Comment below with, "I speak with purpose." Stick with me because next we'll talk about how to reach the part of her mind that listens even when you're silent. Number 2, speak to her subconscious, not her ears. Most men talk to a woman's ears. They try to convince her with logic, reason, or compliments that sound like job interviews. You're beautiful. You're amazing. You're the one. These words bounce off her mind because they don't touch her. They're safe, predictable, and surface level. But when you speak to a woman's subconscious, everything changes. That's where her desire lives. Deep, emotional, instinctive. The subconscious doesn't care about grammar or logic. It reacts to tone, rhythm, silence, and energy. When you speak slowly, calmly, with intention, her nervous system picks up the signal before her thoughts do. That's why sometimes she can't explain why she feels drawn to a man. It's because his words didn't just sound good, they felt right. Here's the truth. Women don't fall for the meaning of your words. They fall for the emotion carried inside them. Think of your voice as an instrument. Every pause, every shift in tone, every quiet moment is a note that plays in her subconscious. When you talk too much, you break the rhythm. When you speak too little, you lose connection. But when you balance steady voice, strong posture, calm presence, you create resonance. She feels you even when you say little. This is where Stoicism gives you an unfair advantage. The Stoics mastered emotional control, not repression, but direction. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." In this context, the quality of your thoughts becomes the quality of your energy. If your thoughts are anxious, needy, or uncertain, she feels it instantly. Not because of what you say, but because of what you radiate. But if your thoughts are centered, grounded, and calm, she relaxes. She feels safe and intrigued at the same time. That's the paradox of male power. You don't have to chase emotion. You guide it. A woman's subconscious doesn't want chaos from a man. It wants a mirror of her own chaos reflected in stillness. When you embody that stillness, she unconsciously trusts you. Let's break this down practically. The next time you talk to her, notice your body before your mouth. Are your shoulders relaxed? Is your breathing deep? Are you rushing to fill silence? The subconscious reads these microsignals like code. Your calm communicates what words cannot. That you are not seeking validation. You are leading the moment. You can say the simplest phrase, "You look different tonight," and it lands like a mystery. Why? Because of how you say it. Your tone carries unspoken meaning. That's how you access her subconscious, through suggestion, not persuasion. Seneca once said, "He who has great power should use it lightly." That's exactly what this is. The power of suggestion is quiet, but it's magnetic. You don't push your energy onto her. You let it flow steady and controlled. That's the kind of communication that bypasses her ears and goes straight to her instincts. So stop worrying about finding the perfect words. Focus on what your presence says when you're silent. Let your stillness, tone, and intention carry the message her subconscious understands. Confidence without effort. If you've ever felt like your words don't land, it's not because you said the wrong thing, it's because you said it from the wrong energy. Fix that and you won't need to convince her of anything. She'll feel it. Comment below with "I speak without words." Stay with me, because in the next part you'll learn how to turn mystery itself into the message she can't ignore. Number 3. When mystery becomes the message. Mystery is not about hiding. It's about revealing less than expected, just enough to make her imagination work overtime. See, women aren't obsessed with what they know. They're obsessed with what they can't quite figure out. And that's where most men lose the game. They explain too much, reveal too early, and leave no space for curiosity to breathe. Take David, 45, from Chicago. Divorced, grounded, successful, but burned out from years of trying to say the right thing. When he met Laura, 41, an art therapist, he tried something different. Instead of chasing or oversharing, he started letting silence do half the talking. When she asked questions, he answered briefly, but always with warmth. When she complimented him, he smiled and said, "You'll have to find out." That line wasn't arrogance. It was restraint. It planted curiosity. Within weeks, she was texting first, showing up more, and trying to read him. Mystery creates tension. The good kind. The kind that keeps her emotionally engaged long after you leave the room. The problem is most men kill mystery by trying too hard to connect. They tell their life story on date 1, confess feelings after 2 drinks, and call it honesty. But it's not honesty, it's exposure. And exposure without depth doesn't inspire attraction. It drains it. The human mind craves puzzles. When something feels complete, interest fades. But when something feels unfinished, attention stays hooked. That's why you should never rush to explain yourself. Your confidence should whisper, not shout. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have." Think about that in relationships. When you rush to fill every silence to reassure her, to prove your worth, you're valuing her understanding of you more than your own mystery. That's when you lose power. A Stoic man knows when to hold back. He trusts that what's real doesn't need to be explained to be felt. David learned this quickly. He stopped texting paragraphs and replaced them with short, intentional messages. You'll see that's a story for later. Each one kept Laura guessing. And when they finally met again, she couldn't stop smiling. She said, "I never know what you're thinking." That's exactly the point. The less she knows, the more she feels. Mystery turns you from predictable to magnetic. It's not manipulation. It's emotional pacing. You're not withholding affection. You're letting curiosity mature into desire. The difference between a man she likes and a man she can't forget is mystery. Here's something to remember. Women don't want transparency. They want discovery. When you give her space to wonder, she fills in the blanks with emotion. And when she does that, her imagination works in your favor. So talk less, mean more. Make eye contact that suggests a story she hasn't heard yet. Smile like you're remembering something she doesn't know. That's how mystery becomes your language. Laura once told David, "You always make me feel like there's more to you." That line isn't about ego, it's about depth. When a woman feels there's more to learn, she keeps coming back to find it. So let mystery become your message. Don't explain. Don't rush. Let her curiosity pull her closer, one thought at a time. Now tell me in the comments I move in silence. Let's keep going, because next you'll learn how scarcity makes your words hit harder than anything you could say twice. Number 4, make it rare. Make it powerful. Here's the truth. Most men never learn. The more you give, the less it's worth. This applies to attention, affection, compliments, even presence. Women are not drawn to what's always available. They're drawn to what feels earned. What's rare has gravity. It pulls her in without chasing. Think about it. Every time you flood her with texts, tell her how much you miss her, or constantly reassure her, you're removing the mystery that creates tension. You're feeding her certainty, and certainty kills attraction. The female mind doesn't crave constant comfort. It craves emotional rhythm, the push and pull, the uncertainty that keeps her imagination alive. When you make your attention rare, your presence becomes valuable. Every word, every glance, every gesture begins to matter, because it's not about quantity. It's about impact. And impact is built on restraint. Stoicism understood this centuries ago. Epictetus said, "If you wish to be loved, love moderation." That's not about coldness. It's about mastery. When you hold back just enough, when you don't rush to satisfy every emotional impulse, you create anticipation. You teach her subconscious that your presence is something to be earned, not assumed. A woman's attraction thrives in the space between her desire and your control. She doesn't fall for men who overshare. She falls for men who know when to stay quiet. She doesn't crave the man who gives everything freely. She craves the man who chooses carefully when to give. When your energy is measured, when your affection comes like rare sunlight after days of stillness, it imprints deeper. Imagine this. You're sitting with her. She's laughing, leaning in, searching for more of you, and instead of over-delivering, you pause. You smile, meet her eyes, and simply say, "You know, I don't say everything I think." Then silence. That silence speaks louder than a dozen compliments ever could. That's the art of rarity. It makes your presence echo. When she can't predict when or how you'll engage, her mind starts filling in the blanks. She begins to replay your words, your tone, your pauses. That's when she becomes invested. Because she's not getting you all at once. She's experiencing you in pieces, and those pieces become addictive. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be." Be one. Apply that here. Don't argue your value. Don't advertise it. Embody it quietly. Let her feel your worth through how selective you are with your time, your words, your energy. Scarcity isn't about playing games. It's about presence with discipline. You're not withholding. You're refining. Every time you resist the urge to over-explain, to over-ex, to over-give, you're telling her one powerful truth. You are a man in control of himself, and in a world full of noise and desperation, that control stands out. It creates calm tension. It invites curiosity. It keeps her guessing. If you've been wondering why your effort sometimes feels invisible, it's probably because it's too common. Make it rare and you make it felt. And if you want to go deeper, understand the real psychological mechanisms that make this work, I talk about them in detail for my channel members. Join the inner circle where I break down how stoic control translates into magnetic attraction. Because the truth is simple. When your energy is rare, it becomes sacred. Comment below with "I move with intention." Now let's move forward, because next we'll talk about how to make your silence speak louder than words. Number 5, energy before words. Before you ever say a word to a woman, she already feels you. Your energy speaks first, louder, clearer, and more honestly than anything that follows. It's in your eyes, your breath, your posture, your tone. And what most men don't realize is that a woman's intuition is wired to pick up on it instantly. Let's take a simple example. Brian, 37, works in marketing in Seattle. Confident at work, respected by his team. but awkward when talking to women. He'd spend hours thinking of clever lines, but they always fell flat. Then one day at a cafe, he met Amber 35, a graphic designer. Instead of rehearsing what to say, he focused on how he felt before walking up to her, calm, grounded, unhurried. His approach was simple. No tricks, no performance, just presence. She smiled immediately. Later, she admitted, "I didn't even care what you said. You just had this calm energy about you. That's what changed everything." Here's the truth. Women aren't listening to your words. They're listening to the man behind them. They sense tension, insecurity, or authenticity faster than logic can explain. So when your internal state is centered, your presence becomes magnetic. When it's anxious or performative, your words collapse under their own weight. This idea isn't new. The Stoics understood this long before psychology gave it a name. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts," meaning what you think you project. If your thoughts are restless, needy, or uncertain, that becomes your color. A woman doesn't see your words. She sees that color. But when your thoughts are grounded, when you feel no rush, no need to impress, your energy tells her something powerful. You are enough as you are. Ryan began practicing something simple before every interaction. A deep breath and a single reminder, I'm already the calm. No need to prove, no need to chase. That shift made his tone slower, his gestures smoother, his presence heavier. Women responded differently, not because he changed his words, but because he changed the frequency behind them. Women are emotional receivers. They tune into vibration before logic. If your energy says, I need you to like me, she feels pressure. If it says, I'm good where I am, she feels freedom. And paradoxically, that freedom makes her drawn to you. It's like gravity, calm attracts chaos. So what can you do? Before you speak, regulate your energy. Slow your breathing. Feel your body. Look into her eyes without expectation. Let silence breathe before you answer. That stillness tells her something ancient, that you are not controlled by the moment you command it. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In attraction, it's not what you say. It's the energy you bring to the space between you. Your words might fade, but the way she felt around you will linger. That's what she remembers. Amber later told Ryan something that stuck. When I'm around you, it feels like time slows down. That's the essence of true masculine energy, slowing down the moment so she can fall into it. So next time you speak, don't focus on what to say. Focus on what your energy is saying before your lips even move. Because when your energy is aligned, calm, grounded, unbothered, your words, she's already listening even in silence. Comment below with I lead with presence. Now let's move to the next part where you'll discover how to use silence itself as a weapon of attraction. Number 6, the moment she feels chosen. There's a moment every woman remembers. The moment she feels chosen. Not admired, not desired, not flattered, but chosen. It's subtle, powerful, and it has nothing to do with the words you say. It's an energy shift that tells her you could have anyone, but you chose her consciously, calmly, and without need. You see, most men chase validation. They give attention hoping to get something back. But when a man of depth, a man who doesn't chase, decides to select it, hits differently. It activates a part of her psychology that craves significance. It's not about being one of many. It's about being the one he noticed. When you move through the world with quiet confidence, women sense that your attention is rare. And when that attention lands on her, even briefly, it feels like gravity. That's when she leans in. That's when she starts thinking about you when you're gone. Because your energy said something her conscious mind couldn't translate. I see you. Not just your body, not just your performance. You. Here's where Stoic philosophy becomes essential. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. When you embody that truth, you stop chasing external validation. You stop trying to force attraction. Instead, your calm detachment becomes your magnetism. You choose with awareness, not hunger. When you choose her, not from a place of need, but from a place of abundance, she feels it in her nervous system. Your energy doesn't scream, please like me. It whispers, I could walk away, but I won't. That controlled tension is what makes her feel both safe and excited. Because deep down, women are drawn to a man whose world doesn't revolve around them, yet still makes space for them intentionally. Think of it this way. When you look at her, do it like a man who's already complete. When you speak, do it like someone who knows his worth. When you listen, do it like it's a privilege, not an obligation. Because when your presence says, I'm here because I want to be, not because I have to be, she feels chosen, And that feeling doesn't fade. The Stoics called this control of the self. It's the art of deciding your actions based on principle, not impulse. The same applies here. You're not reacting to her beauty, her charm, or her validation. You're responding grounded, intentional, selective. That's what separates the Sigma from the seeker. When you embody this, everything shifts. Your eye contact holds weight. Your silence feels full. Your presence feels deliberate. She begins to crave more, not because you gave her everything, but because you gave her choice. A man who makes a woman feel chosen doesn't do it with grand gestures or poetic speeches. He does it through stillness, attention, and timing. He knows when to give presence and when to pull it back. He doesn't chase. He invites. And when she feels that energy, that mix of certainty and restraint, she becomes emotionally invested. Because being chosen by a man who doesn't need anyone is the most powerful validation a woman can experience. So remember, when you look at her, do it like you're making a choice, not a request. That's when attraction becomes reverence. Comment below with "I choose not chase." Because when a woman feels chosen by a man who doesn't beg for attention, she'll never forget how that moment made her feel. Number 7, say it once, then disappear. Here's something most men never understand. Words lose power the more you repeat them. Confidence isn't in how much you say, it's in how little you need to. A woman feels it instantly when your words carry calm authority instead of desperate repetition. You say it once, then you let silence do the rest. That's when your presence begins to echo in her mind. Let me paint the picture. Ethan, 34, lives in Austin, Texas. Smart guy, decent job, great sense of humor. But when it came to women, he talked too much. Every compliment, every explanation, every reassurance was an attempt to prove his worth. And women could sense that. It didn't matter how charming he was. The overtalking killed the mystery. One night, while out with friends, he met Laya, 31, a real estate agent. Instead of performing, he decided to try something different. When she asked about his weekend, he smiled and simply said, "It was interesting." Then looked at her, silent but steady. She leaned in, curious. That pause did more than any clever line ever could. The next day, she texted first. That's what happens when you learn to say it once, then disappear. When your energy is self-contained, your words hit harder. They don't get diluted by repetition. And this connects deeply with Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be." Be one, the modern version. Stop talking about who you are. Show it once, then let your actions breathe. Women crave men who don't explain themselves. Because the moment you over-explain, you reveal uncertainty. The moment you keep talking, you prove you need her validation. But when you say what you mean clearly once and then let silence fill the air, you communicate something far stronger: control. That silence is not emptiness. It's tension. It's where her mind starts working. She begins to wonder what you're thinking, what you meant, whether you're still interested. You flip the dynamic. Now she's chasing clarity instead of you chasing her approval. Ethan noticed it immediately. When he stopped trying to fill the silence, Laya started leaning in, laughing more, asking more questions. His calm became magnetic, and every time he said something meaningful, he left it there. No overtalking, no softening it, just stillness. That stillness created weight. Here's the deeper truth. Your silence is not withdrawal, it's leadership. When you can walk away after making your point, whether in conversation, in texting, or intention, it shows you don't need to control the reaction. You've mastered yourself, and women feel that. They respect it. The Stoics called this apatheia, not apathy, but freedom from emotional overreaction. You're not cold. You're composed. You don't need to repeat yourself because your energy already confirms what your words said. So the next time you compliment her, say it once. Don't add, "I really mean it." The next time you set a boundary, say it clearly, then go quiet. The next time she tests you, don't argue, just smile and change the subject. Your strength isn't in convincing, it's in your ability to walk away from needing to be understood. And the irony, that's when she starts to understand you most, because she's now feeling your confidence instead of hearing it. Ethan told me later, when I stopped chasing the last word, that's when women started chasing mine. That's the paradox of masculine energy. You create gravity, not by holding on, but by letting go. So say it once, then disappear. Not as a game, but as a discipline. Because when you master silence, you master desire. Comment below with "I speak once." Because the man who can say little and still be felt deeply is the one she never forgets. Number 8. Control her emotions without control. Here's the paradox of true masculine power. The moment you try to control a woman's emotions, you lose control of your own. But when you stop trying to control her, when you become the calm within her storm, that's when she starts to align with you emotionally. Not because you forced her to, but because she feels safe in your steadiness. You've probably seen this dynamic play out before. A woman gets emotional. Maybe she's distant, irritated, testing you. Most men panic. They raise their voice, chase reassurance, or overanalyze every text. In doing so, they step out of their frame. But the man who remains unmoved, who doesn't resist her emotions but also doesn't absorb them, that's the man she feels, because emotional stability is more seductive than any line you could say. The Stoics taught this centuries ago. Epictetus said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." The same truth applies here. You cannot control her moods, her tests, or her reactions. What you can control, what separates the sigma from the emotional man, is your response. When she throws chaos your way, don't meet it with more chaos. Meet it with stillness. Don't argue. Don't fix. Don't chase the why. Just listen, breathe, and let her emotion crash against your calm like a wave meeting rock. That contrast, your composure against her emotion, creates polarity. It's what makes her lean into you even when she doesn't understand why. This isn't about manipulation. It's about leadership. Women test to feel your foundation. They don't want perfection. They want to know you won't crumble when they do. The moment you react emotionally to her emotion, she senses instability. But when you remain grounded, when you refuse to let her chaos pull you from your center, you show her what true control looks like. And here's the secret. Your calmness doesn't numb her feelings. It amplifies them. Because the masculine stillness gives the feminine emotions something to reflect off of. The more she feels your peace, the more her nervous system settles. And that's when attraction deepens, not through intensity, but through safety. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Strength in this case isn't loud or dominant. It's quiet. It's the look in your eyes that says you can be as emotional as you need to be. I'm not leaving my center. That's power she can feel, not just hear. Think about this. When you're calm, your energy communicates security. When you're reactive, it communicates uncertainty. Women don't want to lead the emotional tone. They want to sync with yours. If you maintain stillness long enough, she naturally calibrates to it. Her energy follows yours. So the next time you feel tempted to fix her mood, don't fix your presence instead. Control your breathing. Relax your shoulders. Lower your tone. That nonverbal dominance speaks louder than logic. You're not controlling her. You're guiding her emotional space without resistance. The Stoics would call this self-governance. You are the ruler of your internal state. The moment you lose that, you hand your power away. But when you maintain it, when you can hold your calm in the face of emotion, she feels safe enough to be her full self around you. And that safety is addictive. Control her emotions without control. Let your stillness lead her back into balance, because a woman will always mirror the man who refuses to be moved. Comment below with, "I am her calm," because when your peace becomes the loudest thing in the room, she won't just notice. She'll never forget how it made her feel. Number 9, the forbidden word that binds her mind. Every man has used nicknames: baby, beautiful, sweetheart. But most don't realize these words are overused currency worth almost nothing in a woman's mind. They don't create emotion, they create routine. What truly binds her mind is the forbidden word, a name that bypasses her logic and speaks directly to her identity. Let me explain. The forbidden word isn't sexual or aggressive. It's personal. It's yours. It's a name you give her that no one else does. A reflection of how you see her, not how the world does. Take Daniel, 42, from Chicago. Confident, grounded, but tired of surface-level connections. When he met Claire, 38, at a networking event, he noticed something. Every man there treated her like a trophy. Compliments, smiles, attention, predictable. Instead of doing the same, Daniel paid attention. When she spoke, she brushed her hair behind her ear. Whenever she was unsure of herself, it was subtle, but it showed him she had a soft side no one else noticed. Weeks later, when they met again, he called her soft fire. At first she froze, then smiled. It was strange, intriguing, and emotional. That single word carried meaning. It told her he saw her confidence and her vulnerability. From that moment, she couldn't stop thinking about why he called her that. That's the power of the forbidden word. It's not just a nickname. It's a mirror that reflects the version of herself she hides from others. Women are emotional processors. When you give her a name tied to her essence, you connect to her subconscious. That word becomes a trigger. Every time she hears it from you or even in her thoughts, it reactivates the feeling she experienced when you said it. It's emotional conditioning wrapped in intimacy. But here's the rule. You can't fake it. The name has to emerge from authentic observation. It's not manipulation. It's awareness. When a man pays attention, he gives meaning. When he forces meaning, he loses authenticity. This connects directly to Stoic philosophy. Seneca once said, "To be loved, be lovable." What he meant was simple. Attraction isn't created through tricks, but through presence. And when you truly see a woman, when you perceive what others miss, you're no longer trying to impress her. You're showing her that you understand her. That's what builds obsession, emotional recognition, not flattery. Daniel didn't use the word every day. In fact, he said it rarely, but when he did, it hit like thunder. The timing was everything. During a quiet moment after a shared laugh or in a soft whisper before she left, the forbidden word becomes powerful through scarcity. Overuse kills its magic. Underuse makes it sacred, and sacred things stay in the mind. Here's what most men miss. Women are not addicted to words. They're addicted to how words make them feel. When she links that word to a moment of emotional intensity, it lives rent-free in her mind. She can't explain it. She doesn't want to. It becomes the anchor that keeps her emotionally tied to you. So don't call her what everyone else does. Find the truth in her that no one else sees, the duality, the contrast, the fire behind her calm. Give it a name only you use and say it only when it matters. Because the right word said once felt deeply can do what 1,000 texts never could. Comment below with, "I speak to her soul." Because when your words come from truth, they don't just touch her mind. They bind it. Number 10. Leave her wanting more. Here's the truth. Most men refuse to accept. Desire doesn't grow from what you give her. It grows from what you don't. Every man wants to impress, to please, to make her feel secure. But the men who truly stay in a woman's mind understand something far deeper. The secret to attraction isn't completion, it's curiosity. Leaving her wanting more doesn't mean playing games. It means mastering restraint. It means knowing that the final 5 seconds of a conversation can be more powerful than the first 50. It means walking away when the energy peaks instead of letting it fade. See, desire lives in tension. In that space between fulfillment and frustration, when you give her everything too soon, your attention, your affection, your availability, you take away the emotional chase. And when there's nothing left to chase, there's nothing left to feel. A woman's attraction isn't sustained by comfort alone. It's sustained by mystery, by the idea that there's always something more to discover in you. That's why the man who doesn't rush, who doesn't spill his emotions too fast, ends up being unforgettable. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." In relationships, the modern version of that truth is this: be unlike every other man she's met. Don't flood her with validation. Don't explain your every move. Don't show her every card. Instead, make her feel that there's always another layer she hasn't reached yet. You can see this play out in the smallest moments. When you leave her message on, read for an hour, not out of manipulation, but because your life is already full. When you end a date with a subtle smile instead of an overconfident promise. When you give her just enough emotional access that she starts craving the next interaction, that's when obsession starts to form, not from constant presence, but from meaningful absence. A man who leaves her wanting more is the man who knows his worth. He doesn't need to chase because he knows he is the chase. His energy lingers long after he's gone because he's mastered what most can't. Emotional timing. Let's be clear, this isn't about withholding affection or being cold. It's about giving her experiences that breathe. The right amount of silence between connection points lets her anticipation build. It gives her mind the space to miss you. Think of it like music. The pause between notes is what gives the melody its rhythm. Without space, there's just noise. Without distance, there's no desire. A man who leaves her wanting more knows when to step back even when it's hard. He understands that silence is part of seduction. That less is often more powerful than just one more. He ends conversations at their peak, not when they've run out of things to say. He makes every touch, every glance, every word count. That's how you create presence that lasts beyond physical proximity. Because when she's replaying your last words before bed or wondering what you meant when you smiled and walked away, that's when you've truly entered her mind. And here's where Stoicism ties in beautifully. The Stoics believed that the man who can delay gratification rules himself, and in doing so rules his world. You don't chase pleasure. You create it through discipline. You don't demand her attention. You earn it by knowing when to leave space for her to give it freely. So, leave her wanting more. Leave her thinking. Leave her remembering the silence after your last sentence. The look that lingered longer than the words themselves. Because the man who can walk away at the right moment doesn't lose her. He becomes the story she can't stop replaying. Every man watching this now knows the secret isn't about chasing women. It's about mastering yourself. When you control your energy, your timing, and your words, you don't need to force attraction, you become it. In this video, we uncovered the psychology behind obsession. The subtle moves, the rare words, and the calm power that make a woman feel you even when you're gone. These aren't tricks. They're disciplines rooted in Stoic mastery. If you want to go even deeper to learn the hidden patterns of female psychology, emotional control, and how to use Stoic principles to become the kind of man women never forget, join the members community. Inside, we explore what I can't say here. And if you found value in this video, make sure to subscribe so you never miss the next one. Thank you for watching, and remember, the strongest energy in the room is always silent confidence. See you tomorrow. Stay stoic, stay blessed.